What do you think the public perception of Raheem Sterling is?
I'm trying to improve as a player, and that's the most important thing for me and for my development. And I've just done what I thought was best for my career at that moment in time.
All right, guys, picture this. You're 19 years old. You're lining up alongside Luis Suarez, arguably the best striker on the planet at that moment. You're tearing apart Premier League defences week in, week out. Wenger is publicly praising you. Xavi, yes, that Xavi, says you could become the best player in the world once Messi and Ronaldo are done. The Guardian ranks you 8th best player on the planet, 8th in the world. That was Raheem Sterling, and then you blink, and suddenly the same guy who was being mentioned in the same breath as Messi is getting booed off by his own fans, can't get a game at Arsenal, isn't even invited to the Chelsea Club World Cup squad, and is rocking up to Feyenoord carrying a few extra pounds, clearly short of match fitness, putting in a debut that was, let's be honest, pretty forgettable. How does that happen? How does one of England's greatest ever wingers end up here? I'm Mark. Welcome back to the 90 Plus Football Show, and today we're going full deep dive on the rise and fall of Raheem Sterling, because, mate, this story genuinely deserves to be studied. Let's go back to the beginning, because people have completely forgotten just how special this kid was. Sterling joined Liverpool's academy from QPR at just 15 years old, and by 17 he was already making his senior debut for the Reds, not sitting on the bench, playing. At 17, his breakout really came in the 2013 to 14 season under Brendan Rodgers. Liverpool were on this absolutely thrilling title run, one of the most exciting Premier League seasons I can remember. And right there in the middle of it was this 19-year-old kid linking up with Suarez and Sturridge, terrorising fullbacks, scoring 9 league goals. He won the European Golden Boy Award that year, an award previously won by Messi, Aguero, players of that calibre. And Arsene Wenger came out and said that while Suarez was getting all the headlines, Sterling had been very, very influential. When Wenger says that about you, you listen. He ran like a T-Rex. I'll give the critics that. Arms everywhere, but nobody could stop him. His pace was genuinely frightening. He was fearless. He didn't care who was in front of him. He'd just go. At that point, Sterling wasn't just one of England's best young players. He was one of Europe's best young players. But then things got complicated, and this is where you start to see the first cracks. The 2014 to 15 season arrived, and Liverpool was struggling badly without Suarez, who had left for Barcelona. And off the pitch, Sterling found himself in the middle of this absolutely chaotic contract dispute. Liverpool offered him £100,000 a week, $100,000 for a 20-year-old, and he turned it down. Then his agent, and honestly, the agent made everything 10 times worse, came out and said Raheem wouldn't sign, even if they offered him £900,000 a week. 900,000 a week. Oh, mate, the fans absolutely lost it. And then the tabloids got involved. Photos of him smoking shisha, inhaling laughing gas, the whole circus. Rodgers had to sit him down. The crowd turned on him. At one point, the Anfield faithful were literally singing, "Raheem Sterling, your agent's a knob." And when he was named the club's young player of the season, he got booed at his own ground for winning an award. That's when you know it's gone properly wrong. Now, look, Sterling always said it was about ambition, not money. He said if by 22 he hadn't won anything, he needed to reassess. And fair enough, Liverpool hadn't lifted a single trophy during his time there. But the way it all came out, the way it was handled, it left a really bitter taste. He left as a villain. The kid who could have been an Anfield legend left as a villain. City came in, paid £49 million, the most expensive English player ever at the time, and Sterling was gone. And this is where it gets good. This is the version of Sterling that people need to remember. His first season at City was a bit inconsistent. He scored on his home debut, got his first career hat-trick in October, but overall it was fine. Nothing spectacular, and critics were saying City had overpaid. Classic stuff. Then Pep arrived in 2016 and everything changed. Pep rebuilt Sterling's entire game. The runs off the ball, the pressing, the finishing, the positioning. He turned a raw, electric winger into a genuinely complete attacking player. By the 2017-18 season, Sterling hit 18 Premier League goals, his best ever at that point, and became famous for scoring those last-minute clutch winners. City won the title with 100 points, and Sterling was right at the heart of it. But the very best version came the following year, 2018-19, 17 goals, 9 assists, the Premier League title, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. He won the PFA Young Player of the Year. He won the Football Writers Footballer of the Year. He was the first City player since 1969 to win that award. He wasn't just good, he was one of the best in England, arguably one of the best in Europe. And beyond the football, and this is important, Sterling grew as a person. After being racially abused at Chelsea in 2018, he spoke out about how the media portrayed black players honestly and powerfully. He won integrity awards. He was given an MBE. The same tabloids that had been tearing him apart were now calling him a player of style and a man of substance. 7 years at City, 12 major trophies, 131 goals, 4 Premier League titles, and he was only 27. But you could already see the warning signs by the end. Pep was rotating him more. Foden, Mahrez, Grealish. City had quality everywhere. Sterling was fuming on the bench, and at 27 he didn't want to be a squad player, so he left. And this is where it all starts to fall apart. Chelsea paid £47.5 million for him in the summer of 2022. First big signing of the Todd Boehly era. On paper, great move, experience proven, still in his prime. England regular makes sense, except within weeks of arriving, Tuchel, the manager who wanted him, got sacked, and that was just the start. In 16 months at Chelsea, Sterling worked under 5 different managers: Tuchel, Potter, Lampard, Pochettino, and eventually Maresca.
I'm not saying that Raheem is no good player, but I prefer different kind of wingers.
Each one with a different idea, a different system, a different role for him. Potter was playing him as a wing-back at one point. A wing-back, Raheem Sterling! His first season wasn't a total disaster. He scored a couple of braces early on, got a Champions League goal, but it fell apart pretty quickly. A hamstring injury in January knocked him out for weeks. Chelsea were in absolute chaos. They finished 12th, and Sterling ended the season with just 6 league goals. Off the pitch, his family's home was burgled while he was at the World Cup in Qatar. He flew back from the tournament to check on his family. That's a human being dealing with real trauma, and people forget that. The second season under Pochettino started with some promise. He looked sharp against Luton, but it didn't last. The inconsistency crept back in. And then came the moment that basically ended his Chelsea career. He took a penalty away from Cole Palmer in the FA Cup. Missed it. The home crowd booed him. And that was it. His confidence just collapsed. You could see it in his play, extra touches, second-guessing himself, missing chances he would have buried in his sleep at City. The manager stopped trusting him. The fans stopped believing in him. Maresca came in and told him straight up, you're not in my plans. 2 years after arriving as the marquee signing of a new era, Raheem Sterling had almost lost everything, not even included in the Club World Cup squad. Training with the Chelsea rejects, it was brutal to watch. So on deadline day, he ended up on loan at Arsenal, which, rival fans love to point out, is yet another London club. Chelsea paid a chunk of his wages just to make it happen. That tells you everything. There was some logic to it. Arteta knew him from City. Arsenal needed wing depth, low-risk gamble, but it just didn't work. He came in behind on fitness and tactics. He started a League Cup tie against Bolton in September, scored in a 5-1 win. Nice moment. But in the Premier League, he was basically invisible. 7 starts, 17 total appearances, no Premier League goals, 2 assists in a whole season.
To get it back inside to Sterling. It's opened up for Raheem Sterling.
Arteta simply didn't trust him. Even when Saka or Martinelli were unavailable, Sterling wasn't the automatic next choice. On the final day of the season, he got a rare start, basically because of injuries. Pity minutes, he played 496 minutes in the league all season. That's 5.5 full games in an entire year. And now, Feyenoord, a fresh start, a new country. And honestly, fair play to him for not taking the Saudi money and still trying to compete at a decent level. But his debut told its own story. You could see it. The extra weight, the lack of sharpness, the rustiness of a player who genuinely hasn't played proper football in too long. The fans were behind him, which is great to see. And there's a real feeling that he deserves time, that he needs a proper run of games to find himself again. Whether that happens, I genuinely don't know. He's 30 now. The explosive pace that defined him at his peak, that's not coming back. And confidence at this level takes time to rebuild. Look, here's the thing about Raheem Sterling. His career is a reminder of how brutally fast football moves. 1 minute, you're the 8th best player in the world. Winning trebles, beating Van Dijk to Footballer of the Year. The next, you can't get a game at Arsenal. Some of it was his own doing. The Messi exits, the confidence issues, the Chelsea penalty drama. Some of it was circumstance. 5 managers in 16 months, a burglary, a club in total chaos around him, but the legacy is already written. 12 trophies, 4 Premier League titles, 131 City goals, an England hero at Euro 2020. He already fulfilled his potential. Most footballers never come close to what Sterling achieved. The fall is sad, no question, but don't let recency bias fool you. When prime Raheem Sterling was rolling, he was absolutely special. I'm Mark. This has been the 90 Plus Football Show. If you enjoyed this one, go check out the other videos next. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.